know how to do this. Hey guys. Give me 1 minute. I am doing this from my phone. And y'all know I don't normally do it from my phone, so I'm trying to get used to it a little bit. Hold on one moment for me. Um, Gosh. Oh, hey Nisha. Go ahead and speak when you come in, and let me know if you can hear me. I got to set this up kind of funny. So, can you hear me, Nisha? Uh-oh. Hey, Jacquees. Hello, people. Hello. I'm so glad to be back at regular time. Um, I'm gonna try not to rush it, but I have something else I need to do too today. But at least I got to do it at regular time. So even if I go over a little bit, it's okay. So normally we do try to stop in 30 minutes, but we just gonna go with the flow and see what happens. I'm not gonna force it to end in 30 minutes. Hey Toya, how you doing? How you doing? So brick, quick. I was combining quick and brief. So a quick recap. Last week, I was I got on early. So I know a couple of people text me, but I got on early, and I'm just gonna quickly just state what I talked about a little bit last week. It was a whole 5-6 minutes maybe, but I just brought out 2 points because I realized that with this being November, it's actually I don't know how to say it. 3 years ago in November, I started the blog of Soul Surrendered. So, with that being so, I had actually started reflecting and just looking back and trying to see how I've grown, how I have, grown, how I've changed, what my mindset was back then compared to now, and just look at my journey. I've labeled this as a journey of renewing my mind, a journey to sonship, from Christian to sonship. I've named it a lot, and it's all combined in one big thing. But over my doing so, one of the things that I had actually, this thing jumps and crazy. One thing I actually had stated was that our ignorance of a thing does not negate the reality of it. And so with that, it's just the fact that we can be ignorant of some things and it be affecting us, and we not really realize it. So we don't realize how much it's damaging us. In a sense, this is the sense that I was talking about, how much it can be damaging us, especially we can have the right to something. I talked about just having the right to do something, having the power and authority to exercise a right, and we don't exercise it because we don't realize we have that power to do it. And then I also talked about what else I said last week? Anybody on here that was on here last week? Oh, I said that in the midst of you really renewing your mind, or doing some type of transformation, personal wise, there comes a time when you really need to separate your thoughts from your identity. Separate your thoughts from your identity, because hey Kimmy, I love you, girl. Tell my nieces and nephews I said hey. But if we separate our identity from our thoughts, because when you think, they say, you say, as a man thinketh, so is he. So you're manifesting, you are really behaving and operating from a place that may be flawed and full of negativity. You're not being your true self because you're not thinking along the lines that you really are. So if God has called you a certain thing and you're not operating or living up to that standard or living up to that identity, and it's because of the way you think, you need to separate your thoughts from your identity and say, I'm not that. I'm not shy. I'm not timid. I'm not I'm not crazy. I'm not whatever it is, whatever the enemy has put in your mind or whatever society has put in your mind. I'm sorry, y'all. You need to separate your thoughts from that, and then get God's thoughts for you. Get different types of thoughts in your mind, expose yourself to other things, and so that you can take on the true identity of who you should really be. And so that was last week. It was real brief, but this week I kind of wanted to, something that's been on my mind pretty heavy this week, probably due to a lot of different types of conversations, probably due to whatever, but it was having the heart for something or someone, particularly God, and versus having the heart of something, particularly God. So having a heart for God or versus having a heart of God. And it kind of almost sound like a play on words. It's kind of sound like when I first thought about it, it was like, are you really being picky? Like with these word choices and stuff like that. And y'all know me, I am big on, just because I think I know what a word means does not mean that I need to just automatically assume I know it. I go look up definitions and stuff. So I did that. I looked up definitions, and then I even thought about the fact that one word can change the whole meaning of a sentence. So if you leave out one word, it can really make a difference. Even if you leave out a letter in a word, that whole word can take on a whole different meaning. If you leave out a punctuation